What is going on, everybody? The Original Mako back, and here we are with our next top 5. We are almost done with all of them. This time it is the top 5 anticipated anime for next year that have been announced. And then our last video to end out the year will be the top 5 anticipated games, video games for next year. But before we get to that, let's get into the anime. And next year's going to be crazy. These top 5 and my honorable mentions, there's none that I'm like, yeah, I'm excited for it, but no, I am amped for all of these, as well as there being many other options I could have picked, and it was actually really hard to pick. I think my top 5 was pretty easy, but the two honorable mentions out of all of these other shows I want to watch were very difficult. So I have this list up here. This isn't fully complete, but it has a lot of the ones that have been announced so far. These are all the movies. And then I'll slowly kind of scroll down this list as we're talking about it so you guys can see what exactly is coming out next year. But that being said, let's just go ahead and talk about the first honorable mention. And I gave the nod. This was one of the hardest slots to pick, but I gave the nod to Vinland Saga Season 2, which I believe is very early in the year. Yeah. Vinland Saga Season 2 starting January 10th has an official release day, and I just finished Season 1 not that long ago. Check out the Shark Scale on that. But the storyline finished off in kind of a very interesting spot because the main character's entire reason for existing, essentially, well, I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not gonna spoil it. But it's kind of one of those shows where I don't know exactly where the story is going to go from here, which makes me excited for it. And it's got good action. It was animated super well. Obviously, you could see here it's being done by MAPPA, so you know it's going to be good. And I'm very excited for Vinland Saga Season 2. Why does my chair always... There we go. So that one got my first honorable mention of the list, and I can't wait for it. The next honorable mention, I have a clip I'm going to show you. This video might get rocked for this clip. But you have to see this because some of you may have never seen this because it's actually, I believe it's a Netflix exclusive, but Records of Ragnarok Season 2 is coming out next year, and I think Season 1 was like 2020, I think it's been 3 years since Season 1, and I'll give you the premise without spoilers of the show. Essentially, humans are fighting gods to the death to determine if they're going to wipe out humanity, essentially. They're giving humanity a chance to fight to live. And it's a bunch of very famous gods. You know, you've got your Zeus, Poseidon, Hercules. You got all those gods, right? But then you also have characters based off of real people from human history fighting in these battles. Like in the first season, there was a crazy general from like the Chinese army who had a bunch of stories around him. Adam from Adam and Eve, the story from the Bible. Adam literally fought Zeus in one of the fights, and they ended it by announcing the human and the god who are going to be fighting in the next fight to start Season 2. And for the human, I forget who the god is. It doesn't matter. For the humans, it's Jack the fucking Ripper. And I just want you guys to watch this entrance. If this doesn't get you somewhat excited for this show, then I don't know if anything possibly could. I mean, this is just... I'll just let it play. さあ、望みの舞台でどんな戦いを見せるのか。第4回戦、人類代表はこいつだ。西暦1888年8月31日金曜日。その怪物は濃い霧の中から突如として姿を現した。鋭い牙で切り裂こうとしたのは売春婦5名の命だ。No! 人類社会そのものか。No! 瞬く間に300万星ロンドンの恐怖のどん底に陥れ悪の中の悪。漆黒の闇を心に抱くその男の名は人類史上最も著名な殺人鬼。 Dude. Oh my god. I love that fucking entrance so much. It's just, oh god, it gets me excited because I am just pumped to watch Jack the fucking Ripper fight a god. I'm really excited for it. There was like a list of all the humans that are fighting. There's a couple of interesting ones, but I don't know if any of them I'm more excited for than Jack the Ripper. So that's why Records of Ragnarok gets this honorable mention slot. It couldn't quite crack my top 5 because the first season was good. The fights were a little drawn out though, and I think they could have done a little better job with the animation, but I'm just so excited for this Jack the Ripper fight. I don't care. Next up, we get into the actual top 5, and I'll scroll down a little more. And number 5, coming in at number 5, is an anime you may have heard the announcement for. It's a brand new one. In fact, it's the only new anime on this entire list. Mashle, Magic, and Muscles, which is actually on screen right here, coming out in April. So, this will be the very first time ever that I have read every volume of the manga that's currently out. It's still ongoing, but I've read every volume of it that is out right now. And that was before they even announced the anime. I didn't know there was going to be an anime for this. I just thought it looked interesting. I started reading it. It was good. The author is fucking hilarious. And they announced an anime for it. Here's what I'll tell you. If it's animated well, this anime is going to hit. It's funny. It's quirky. The main character, it's just constant action, constant fights in this, in the entire, like the manga is just fight. It's crazy. And they're very good fights and very fun to read. So I can't even imagine how good they will be to see animated. So I'm super excited about that one. Can't wait for it to come out. Once again, I'm also excited because it is the first time I know what's going to happen, but it'll be fun to see how closely the anime follows the manga, if there's any differences, what those differences are. It'll be fun. I think it'll be super fun. So that is coming in at the number 5 slot. Also, little sidebar, Hell's Paradise. Can't wait for that. Couldn't quite make my list, though. Next up, at number 4, which this isn't on any of this for some reason. But anyways, Classroom of the Elite Season 3. I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. Classroom of the Elite is an amazing series, and I think I was rock hard for about 2 weeks straight when they announced Season 2 and Season 3 were coming. There were only 2 animes ever that I watched, and at the end of it, I said, I need another season. Classroom of the Elite and Tower of God. Classroom of the Elite, I really thought was never getting another season because Season 1 came out in 2014, and Season 2 wasn't announced until like 2021. 7 years. But it happened, and we also have a Season 3 confirmed, and I cannot wait. Season 2 lived up to all of my expectations, so I'm guessing Season 3 is going to do the exact same thing. So that's why I can't wait for it. Also, Tower of God is rumored to be coming out in 2023, but I'm fairly certain that is not official. If it was official, Tower of God would probably be on this list as an honorable mention instead of Vinland Saga. But regardless. Next up, number 3. I'm interested to see if any of you know my kind of anime history. I'm curious if you guys know my top 3. Number 3 is going to Dr. Stone Season 3. Dr. Stone was one that kind of came out of left field for me. I watched it, and when I went into it, I was expecting it to be good. I mean, I expect every show I watch to be good, but I wasn't expecting it I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did. And because I think it was somebody in Twitch chat recommended Dr. Stone after I had mentioned, I really like smart characters, like really big brained characters. And he recommended Dr. Stone, so I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And previously, what I kind of mean by smart characters is like cunning, kind of like L and Light in Death Note, or Ayana Koji in Classroom of the Elite. That kind of smart. Senku is just like a genius, like a scientific and mathematic genius. Not cunning, essentially, or not cunning necessarily, but just really, really smart. And I loved him as a character. I still don't know if there are. I'd have to dig deep and think. There might not be another anime that I think does side characters better than Dr. Stone. Every side character gets their time in the light, and they have their story. They have their. It's just the humor is so perfectly timed and well executed, and you actually learn stuff watching the anime, like real scientific things, which is really cool. And I like science, so Dr. Stone was like perfect for me. Dr. Stone's amazing. I can't wait for season 3. And these top 3 were all very, very close. I want you guys to know this. There's not a big gap for any of these top 3. My number 1 might have a slight level up on the other 2, but these top 3 are all I actually cannot wait. So coming in at number 2 is Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. I don't know. There's nothing else I can say. Jujutsu Kaisen was one of my favorites when I watched season 1. The movie was amazing. I can't wait for season 2. There's not much else I really even feel like I need to say about Jujutsu Kaisen. It's up there with Demon Slayer in terms of the new gen anime that are kind of taken over. I did hear that the Jujutsu Kaisen manga might be ending this year, which is kind of sad. I was hoping it was going to be like a real long series. But regardless, I still cannot wait to see what kind of shenanigans the crew gets into for season 2. And this is another show that I think does side characters super well. I'm like invested in a lot of the different side characters, and I think that happened due to the little, not really tournament arc, but the little battle arc between the 2 different schools. Where you get a bunch of different fights from a bunch of different characters, which means you get to like see all the different characters in action. I think that's what made it so fun, and why I think the side characters were done so well. And obviously, it's beautifully animated, and the pacing was amazing. So yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 comes in at my number 2 spot, and then number 1. If after hearing all these other shows, if you don't know what my number 1 is, then you're lost, and it should be your number 1 too. Attack on Titan Season 4, the final part, is coming in 2023. Especially after the announcement that they are changing the ending from the manga, which means nobody fucking knows how it's going to end. I didn't read the manga, so I didn't know anyway. But I think it's so cool, if it's done well, that they're changing the ending from the manga and making it a surprise for everybody. Attack on Titan arguably has the biggest plot twist in all of anime. And it has a lot of really good plot twists throughout the show, but in this previous season, it had the biggest plot twist I've ever seen in anime, and maybe in the entirety of anime, other than maybe Code Geass. But anyway, there's very rarely been a show. There have been 3 shows ever that I've watched where parts of the show I can't stop watching. Because usually what happens is I watch some anime before I go to bed, and I give myself, depending on what time it is, I'm like, okay, I'll watch 3 before I go to bed tonight, or I'll watch 2 or 1 or 4, whatever it is. With Attack on Titan, that went tits up. I was watching like 7 episodes a day when I was catching up, 7 to 8. With Naruto, that happened at specific parts of the story, and with Hunter x Hunter during the York New City arc, I could not stop. I had to know what happened next. But Attack on Titan was like that for like 2 straight seasons, from like the middle-ish of season 3 all the way to where we are now. There has not been a single episode where it has stopped, and I'm not just like sweating profusely trying to watch the next episode because I have to know what happens next. So there's just not another anime that's had that effect for that long on me. And if this anime ends well, if it has a good final season that's exciting, the storyline wraps up in a fulfilling way, and it has good action, good animation, it will be competing for a top spot, I think it already is top 3, but top 2 spot in my all-time anime list, because it's just it's so good. It's just so good, and there's not much else I can say about it. So there it is, everybody. Those are my honorable mentions and my top 5 anticipated anime for next year. Now, there might be some that come out that, I haven't been announced yet, or like Tower of God is a big one that I might be more excited for than some of these, but I am pumped for all of these, and I'm pumped for a lot of the other shows on here as well. What is this? I'm going to have to look into that. I like Egyptian mythology, so... Anyway, let me know some of the ones you're looking forward to coming up in this next year. Thank you guys for hanging out. I do appreciate it. Like I said, sometime in the next 2 to 3 days, I will have our top 5 anticipated video games. And then I'll probably have a thank you video to wrap up the entire year. And then getting into 2023, we'll get back to some more regular content. I don't know exactly what it's going to be because I've been playing nothing but World of Warcraft recently. And I do not know how to make a YouTube video on World of Warcraft content. But if you want to see more of me, you can check out the stream, because I'm streaming almost every day. And we have a good time. We have fun over there. So come check it out. I'd appreciate it. But that being said, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy this holiday season. Enjoy the New Year's time. Hopefully you're spending it with family, friends, loved ones. And if not, then spend it with me in Discord or something. I don't know. I'll talk to you guys. But regardless, hopefully you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for hanging out. I love each and every one of your faces, and I will catch you all in the next video.